Well, good morning and welcome to the second one in our series of creative writing for August. And I'm all prepared here with my notebook and my pen. And I see many of you are also. And we are so happy to have Yao with us. Yao, there are many, many things to introduce Yao, but I won't say them all because we'd use up all of our time. Yao is a member of our focusing oriented community empowerment team and has done many presentations with us. And I think you've been here before also to the Helpers Group, right?
In the very early days, yes.
Yes. And Yao has really been around the block once or twice. Social worker, a therapist for many years, working with families of prisoners, working with youth at risk, and a long-term time meditator. And you recently had some kind of ritual of becoming something, and it's not clearly in my mind.
Yeah, it's trying to become a human being, right? No,
A human
Mama,
being.
no monastic. But yes, I practice in the Tibetan lineage, and I'm doing. If anybody's familiar, I'm doing my prostrations, just trying to get them done.
Okay, well, haiku is a wonderful medium for focusing and for meditation. And you do flower arranging also, and it sort of fits with the haiku, I think.
Yes, absolutely. That's a great segue just to give a little origin story. So yes, my name is Yaotunde Obiora. Interestingly enough, many of you all met me, Christine, and I'm looking at Lynn. My birth name, Rommel Eric Washington. So my dad was in the military. I was born in Germany. Like, who names their black child after a Nazi field marshal? So I had that name, and once I found out like who this dude was, I was like, yo, parents, can we talk? And I mean, it was already enough. My last name is Washington. Yes, a founding framer, but also an enslaver. So I was like, yo, I got to change this. And, so in the late 60s, early 70s, the fervor, many of you all know, what was going on. And, my relatives were, cousins and uncles and aunts were changing their names and becoming more enlightened about where they came from and acknowledging that. So I had an opportunity early on, like 16 or 17, I traveled in Africa and I got bestowed a name. The transmission came to me. And so I promised, though, my dad and my mom, I wouldn't change until after they were dead. And so, blessed be, happy orphan, love my parents, love them. So I went ahead on, and so yeah, Yaotunde Obiora. Interestingly enough, it's 7 syllables, just as my birth name, Rommel Eric Washington, is 7 syllables. So I got that second line there. And because my parents were in the military, my dad was in the military, had a chance to travel to Bangkok and Okinawa. And there I was just able to get into Buddhism as just a young kid, just being around other children, playing, admiring how the temple was such an important place and the energy that was coming from there. And also my mother introduced me to Akibana, the art of flowers and branches, and I practiced Kado in that particular lineage. Calligraphy, I was also introduced, and Haiku. So yeah, Haiku and focusing. You know, the late 1900s, early 20th century, there started to become a resurrection of the art of Haiku. It had actually had died down a couple of hundred years ago. And one of the most prominent Haiku masters is Matsudo Basho. And I'm going to read a couple of his haikus as we go through, but he really helped to bring that on. And he had been a former Buddhist monk. And this is an interesting thing about Buddhism and haiku. And I think that has a large part to do with the influence of Japan, and Buddhism is very important in Japanese culture. But I also recognize, gosh, a lot of my teachers, present day, have been monastics, have been Buddhist monastics. Clark Strand, Natalie Goldberg was a monastic for 17 some odd years. Joan Halifax, all of these people, I guess interesting enough, had that connection with Buddhism. Now, I was able to realize you don't have to be Buddhist, you don't have to be in retreat, in silent meditation for months on end to appreciate and write haiku, because haiku is about play. It actually translates into play, having fun, doing it in community. And that's the thing that's drawn me to haiku. And we're going to talk more when we really start writing some haiku together. So, just want to ground myself with you all. Let's do some preliminary kind of, as we prepare to really delve into writing haiku. It's what is called writing practice. Writing practice. So I hope everybody has an instrument to write with and something to write on. Thank you so much. We're going to do this. And I'll keep time. And I also put in sort of like a title in haiku of just what I'd love to impart, if anything else. And that haiku is, focusing is key in creating a haiku's art. Simplicity speaks. I'm going to read it one more time. Focusing is key in crafting a haiku's art. Simplicity speaks. Okay. So, why don't we just go right into this? Let's take 5 minutes. And I want you to write, what would you answer, what would you ask the wind? What would you ask the wind? And let's take 5 minutes, starting now. Okay, everybody, put your writing instrument down. Feel your breath, your inhale and your exhale. Just take a couple of seconds. And before we move on, just anyone wanting to share, please open up your mic, raise your hand if you'd like. Well, Dorothy, are you wanting to share?
I can share. I just enjoy being led to write. And I don't know if I heard the prompt exactly, but being engaged with the wind was so pleasurable to me because it immediately got me in touch with the senses of my body, the feel of the wind, and brought me present. So my last little one was, wind, sing to me a song of belonging. I am here. And that has meaning to me. Just to be present is enough. Is something I'm thinking about a lot.
Oh, thank you so much, Dorothy. Oh, I'm feeling that with you. Thank you. Is there anybody? Oh, Liz, I see your hand. And then June. Go right ahead, Liz.
Hey, wind, please calm down. I just came from the salon. You're ruining my blowout.
Yes, Liz. That's the joyfulness of sharing haiku and writing and sharing. And oh, thank you so much. Oh gosh, thank you.
I came a couple minutes late. Did you give us a syllable, the number of syllables, or it's more of a free thing?
Okay, so there are two formal haiku and popular haiku. Both ascribe to the 5-7-5.
Okay.
The formal adds the season word, and I'll talk more about that. But I you know, there was a handout. I'll make sure we send it out to you. But it was the 17 essential points for writing haiku in English. So you all might not have gotten that, but that's okay. That's okay. I think, and there's a bibliography of just resources to writing practice and haiku writing that I wanted to get to you. But you know what? I think just doing this, just without like having to read and do that, let's feel it. You're right. Let's be it. So thank you. I will do that, Liz. Thank you for reminding me. June, I think you wanted to share. I can't hear you, June.
I just wrote a poem. I thought the first one was just a free poem. Okay. Yes? Not a haiku. Not a haiku. Oh, wind, where do you blow? Are you leaving me? Where will you go? Will I feel you again, your wonderful hand on my brow, brushing away all that's too much for me to bow to?
Thank you. Too much to know to bow to. Ah, June. Yes. You were right on. You were right on. Oh, okay. So let's do another practice. And folks, this is just writing, right? You don't have to write a haiku. We're going to count you. We're going to blast into the haiku writing. But right now, just again, this is just the preliminaries, loosening up, because writing practice gives us access to go, to tap into ourselves deeper. So again, we're sort of clearing the stale winds. You know, many of us are waking up. Many of us are, whatever your time zone is. But we've come together to do this. So let's take 5 minutes. And the prompt is, what brings you here? what brings you here? And you can look at your motivation, your vocation, your virtue as ways to, but what brings you here? All right. And starting now, 5 minutes, please go.
And in poem form?
No. You could just write. You can, if that's what you want to
Oh.
do. But I'm inviting you, just write.
Okay.
Just write. Okay, rest your instruments. Breathe in, breathe out with awareness. Yes. So any shares? Any shares? Yes, please. Sashi?
What brings you here? I'm always there with you.
Say that again.
What brings you here? I am always there with you.
Hmm. I'm always there with you. Gives me a feeling of security when you say that. Yeah. Anybody else would like to share? Yes.
What brings me here? The joy of community, the pleasure of thought and wonder, the release of writing, listening, learning.
Ah. Ooh, it felt like fertilizer. Oh gosh, all the ingredients needed, just, and the outcomes, the listening, the being in community, it evokes that togetherness. Thank you, thank you. And I know you're not Bob, you're Nancy, right?
I'm Nancy, yes.
Yeah, okay.
I gotta get that changed.
No problem. Thank you, thank you. I think I saw somebody else's hand.
Yeah, Lenore.
Yes, Lenore, please.
Okay. It's a little about, well, I'll just read it. What brings me here? To life, to the hills, to the valleys, to the ocean spray, I find my way. I'm here to be with the earth, the sky, the wonders of life, nature. Ah, nature, my sanctuary, from the hustle and bustle to find my rock, my place, to heal. What brings me here to a place of open-heartedness, to compassion, to find the way to join with others in laughter and tears.
Hmm. 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 Thank you, Lenore. It was like a journey through nature, a nice quick journey through nature you took me through. Thank you. Natty, and then I see Sashi, you want to
Yeah.
say something else again?
I wanted to ask
Yes.
you, do you have to always include the question in the metaphor or the idea that you give into the poem when
No,
or it doesn't matter?
it doesn't matter. It's just a springboard, Sashi. It's just a springboard. And you're the body that's jumping on that springboard, getting that buoyancy, and boom, into the water. Okay.
For example, if I were to say, I'm at the door, do you have something sweet to eat? You know, like what brings me here? Does that
That's
imply?
wonderful. That's wonderful. Because you got me getting ready to go out here and go to your door and get that something sweet. Thank you. That's it. Nati, yes, please.
Thank you, Yao. Okay, so mine is very simple and follows no structure, but has to do with what I asked the wind, because I had asked the wind to show me where love is. So in this one, I wrote, wind brings me here, following the love, seeking it, trying to grasp it, to hold it, to be it.
Mm. Loving determination comes up in me, wanting to hold it, wanting to be it, wanting to feel it, wanting, yes. Ooh, and it feels soft and it feels whatever I'm wanting to feel from it. Yeah. Thank you, Nettie. Thank you. Okay, let's write some more. All right, so this one, this springboard, what story or question that you keep asking or telling yourself? What is the story or question that you keep asking or telling yourself? So we're gonna do 7 minutes on this one because I want to add this other. I want to invite this other guy. I want you to keep your instrument on the paper and just let it flow. Just let it flow. I know some people might print, whatever, but as much as you possibly can, especially if you write cursive, just let it flow. No breaks, no lines, no punctuations, no capitalizations. Don't worry about that stuff. Just let it flow. Everybody got that? You all are so wonderful. Thank you all. Okay, starting now. Keep the instrument on the paper. Okay, lay your instruments down. What I'd like to invite in this particular share, not so much the content of what you wrote, but what was it like to just write in a flow, nonstop, if you were able to do that? Maybe not for the complete right, but maybe for some of it, because it takes practice, right? We've been taught, spaces, words, needs, all of that. What was it like to just be in a flow? What was hard about it? What was easy about it? What was it? Anyone? And there's no pressure.
I can say it brought me up to my limitations, but you telling me to keep the pen moving helped me break through the limitation. So thank you for that.
And thank you for inviting yourself to say, hey, I'm not limited. I can flow.
Well, some of my perceptions are.
Yes.
And it was and realizing it's the perception that was what came through the writing, the perception.
Thanks, Steph. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay. We're going to do 2 more. And this one, tell me about a time you fell in love. Now, I want to invite this. I want you to write with your non-dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, write with your left hand. If you're left-handed, write with your right hand. And we'll give ourselves a little, let's give it 7 minutes too on this one. Again, tell me about a time you fell in love writing it with your non-dominant writing hand. And let us begin now. Okay, put your instruments down. And as we did before, not so much the content, but it's okay if you want to share that. But what was it like to write with your non-dominant hand? What was that experience like? I got to tell you, June, your facial expressions, you were smiling sort of like Okay, this is something else here. Yes, please, Sophie, go.
Thank you. I love that. I felt like I was tuning into a younger part in me and more essential, the essence. And it made me really slow down. And I was also smiling. I just feel like I'm learning how to write with my nose. But I was surprised how much I could write, actually. I thought, I wouldn't be. And it's very fresh and crisp. The slowing down helped like just come to the nuggets.
Oh, Sophie, I love that. That's slowing down, bringing nuggets that you could see. Yeah, drawing back to our earlier time in our life when we were learning writing, right? I don't know about you all, we learned those big fat pencils on cornbread paper. That's what they used to call it, with the thick lines and the broken lines in the middle. And yeah, invoking that. Thank you, Sophia. Who else would like to share? What was it like with your non-dominant hand? All right. I think Sophie covered it really well. So let's do this last piece before we go right into. Okay, yeah, because we're gonna do a focusing. Okay, let's do this. This is what I call the lightning round. I'm going to say a word or ask a question. 1 minute, no more than 1.5 minutes. Just write down. But so it's going to be about 7 prompts. Again, right, let go, right, let go. No more than 1.5 minutes. First prompt, violet. Okay, number 2. Leave number 1 alone. Number 2 is, where are you really from? 1 minute, let's go. Where are you really from? Okay, let's leave number 2. Number 3, what body of water are you? Number 3, what body of water are you? Okay, let's leave number 3. Number 4, tell us about your feet. Number 4, tell us about your feet. Drop number 4. And number 5, tell us a memory of rain. Tell us a memory of rain. Okay, let's move to number 6. Number 6, tell us about your mother's hands. Tell us about your mother's hands. And the last one on the lightning round, what mountain are you? What mountain are you? All right, put your instruments down, please. And we don't have time to go through each one by one, but I would like to invite people just to respond. Share a response on one that really stood out for you, 1 or 2. Let's just go around. Anybody? Okay. Yes, please, Sophie. And then Lenore.
Where are you really from? I'm from that other planet. It's up in the air and the wind is sweet and it's fluffy and fun and it wants to love.
Oh, I love interplanet beings. Thank you, Sophie. Thank you. Thank you. Lenore, how about you?
Okay, tell us about your feet. My feet give me the strength to carry on, to dance, to play, to walk this earth, standing and seeing many legends.
Standing and seeing many legends?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Oh, yes. Your feet have stories. Wow. Yes. That's so wonderful. Okay, anybody else? Oh, Liz, thank you. Go right ahead.
Let's see which one. I like to, where are you really from? Okay. I like to say 2329 East 28th Street, Brooklyn, New York. Except we only moved there when I was 2. I'm really from the Nostrand Avenue projects.
I love it. The origination story. I love it. Oh, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. All right. So let's do this because we've got like a little less than 30 minutes. Okay. So we're gonna really get down and write some haiku. Okay. Christine, could you show the visual, the 2 cartoons and the
Everything at once or one at a time?
one at a time?
Okay.
We'll spend a second or two. Thank you so much, Christine. You're awesome. So as Christine lines it up for us, again, haiku is becoming okay, there you go. So this is a cartoon. Yeah, I just love it when haiku is sort of brought in popular culture. And it looks like they're students, right? College students. I think exposure to haiku has really sharpened my tweeting skills. Okay, the next one, Christine. Ah, yes. At the desk, in the office, and the boss. I appreciate succinct memos, Phillips, but stop writing them all in haiku. And this last, well, not the last one, but this one, I'm freaked out. I don't generally do crosswords, but I just happened to be scrolling in the Times. I have it online. And this was in November, last fall, in November. And haiku, it was one of the prompts. Poem with the 575 pattern. I almost lost my mind. I just was so happy. And so just sharing that, haiku made it in the New York Times crosswords puzzle as one of the questions. All right. And then let's show the picture of Basho. Okay, so as I had stated earlier, Matsuo Basho is, just revered as a haiku poet. And Richard Wright, a beloved American writer, poet, essayist, novelist. Interestingly enough, they both died on the same date. Basho died November 28th, 1694, and Richard Wright died November 28th, 1960. Interesting about Richard Wright, he actually didn't start writing haikus until the last 2 years of his life. He had come down with a severe illness. He had lost, his mother died, and one of his most beloved mentors died both within a year, and then the illness. And so sequestered himself in a small French town, and just prolific, wrote about 5,000 haikus in that 2-year period. 5,000. And really honed in on the basic fundamentals of the art in this form, the formal form of 5-7-5 and the season word. So I really read a lot of Richard's haikus. And of course, I read a lot of Basho. That's part of the wonderful thing about not just writing haiku, but reading them and sharing them and reading them together with people, just like what we're doing now. Sharing this community, sharing in community a love for haiku. So, Christine, let's show the film. It's about 3 minutes, and it really speaks to how the recognition of haiku was honored in the city. So we might not be able to get the volume, but as you can see, this is downtown Brooklyn. And there you see a haiku. A spring sky so clear that you feel you are seeing into tomorrow. A train crashes past, a butterfly still as stone on the humid earth. Whose town did you leave, oh wild and droning spring rain, and where did you go? So these were all over the city in subway stations, on billboards. Could this melody be sung in other countries by other birds? On buildings. It was wonderful to actually visit every one of those places. The creeping shadow of a gigantic oak tree near the wall. In a red sunset, a frog commands the night wind to roll out a moon. Follow wherever the tree branches make arches in the torrid sun. Leaving its nest, the sparrow sinks a second, then opens its wings. So just wanted to give you a taste of the importance and the simplicity of haiku and Richard Wright's small contribution to haiku writing. Okay, so let's get down and write some haiku. Seriously, all right? All right. Settle in, just look around you. Look around you, look where you're sitting. Look, just pay attention, look up, look down, look around behind you. All right, so settle in. This leap, the leap into haiku. The leap is something new, something desired, a flash of insight, transcending time, And we will always wrestle with this when we write haiku. So this writing practice, what's on your mind, what's in your body, what's around you, what can you access nature from where you're sitting? So 17 syllables, 5 in the first, 7 in the second line, and 5 in the third line. Something else is also wonderful about this. We get taught, do not count with your hands. Oh my God, I would be admonished by teachers and my parents. What are you doing counting it? That shows a sign that you're not smart enough if you can't do it all in your head. Haiku says, oh, forget that. Use your fingers. Count those syllables out. Okay? Like focusing. How many syllables is focusing? 4. Wait a minute. Focusing. Focusing. 3. Right? Focusing. Right. All right. You can play with the syllables of your name, but just so you start with, use your fingers. And if you run out, use your toes. Okay? But let's do this. So I want to invite us, write a haiku right now. The prompt is whatever's around you, wherever you're at. What's there? Inside, outside, whatever. Five, 7, 5. The basic format for haiku. I want to invite you to leave that one. Give a little space on what you're writing on, and write another one. Just write another one. All right. So what's that? That's 3 haikus already. Okay. This one, I'm going to invoke a seasoned word. All right. And seasoned word, there actually is a compilation. It's so thick with several volumes of seasoned words. And seasoned words certainly ascribe to nature, coming from the Japanese culture of haiku. But seasoned words can also be events, like July 4th, right? Situations, people. It doesn't have to necessarily be anything that's reflecting nature, but something that happens in that particular season. Harvest is seasonal, spring or fall, depending on where you live. All right, so this word kind of can be difficult, but kind of easy, because I'm going to give you 5 syllables already. So that'll be either the first line or the third line. And the season word is summer afternoon. Summer afternoon. Summer afternoon. That's 5 syllables. So you already got the first line or the third line, or you can incorporate it in the second line, which is 7 syllables. Just got to work it around. You know, haiku is often like eating around the bruises of a sweet peach. So let's just finish up on the summer afternoon, and then let's share that. Let's share. People would like to. Also, too, if you want to share any of the poem, either any of the haiku that you wrote when we were kind of doing those 3, you can share that too. But I would love for everybody to feel open to just share their haiku or a haiku that they wrote. So please, I'd love for Mary, I see your hand. Oh, Mary, can't hear you. There you go.
Drowsily nodding, my cosmos are blooming there, summer afternoon.
Read it again, Mary.
Drowsily nodding, my cosmos are blooming there, summer afternoon.
I just love that drowsily. Yes. Oh my God. That's good. That's good. Share. Steph and then June.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is a great healing tool I discovered because I went through some feelings with it and it's very healing. I think I'm going to use it as a healing tool, but I will say mine very quickly. Summer afternoon, waves tickling my feet, joy, feels like going home.
I'm about ready to pull my shoes off and stick my feet in some water. Just you sharing there. Thank you, Steph. Thank you. June, was that you, June? Did you want to share? Yes.
Summer afternoon, people dressed free and easy, bodies touching air.
Free and easy, bodies touching air. Yes. Thank you, June. Laura.
This is an earlier one. I feel so hurried. Don't push me so fast, so far. I cannot keep up.
That has some focusing energy to that too. I love that. Yeah. Slow it down. Ease up. Yeah. Is not going to be in a hurry after hearing that. Absolutely. Anyone else? Maybe two more. Anyone. All right. Whoa. Oh, Sophie, you want to share one?
Unless somebody who hasn't shared is ready to pop.
Doesn't seem like anybody is anchoring, but you can go right ahead.
Okay. Summer afternoon, noon, and after it calms with its flowers and sun.
The sun and the flower working together, coming and going. Love it. Oh boy, you all, we really just peeled open this. We peeled it open. And Steph, I appreciate you saying, yeah, Haiku is for healing. It can be I do that work with my clients often. I do that in our holistic healing group. Do you know, after we dropped the bomb on Japan, people they didn't know what to make of it. So this woman got people together and they started writing haiku to help them heal. And it was so impactful for these folks. So yes, haiku for healing, absolutely. And this writing practice that we covered, the preliminaries that we did in the beginning, and then with haiku, cultivate that. Set a time in your schedule in the day. Write a haiku. Start reading haikus, please. Read. Write, just write. No, listen, we're not trying to get a Pulitzer. But you are the poet emeritus in your house. We are all poets. So please, I encourage you, cultivate the writing practice. Start reading haikus. And start reading haikus by not just men. So I want to read one thing that I wrote, just kind of thinking about the connection of focusing in haiku, the art of haiku. And then Dorothy's going to read three poems, 3 haiku poems. one by good gracious, Ni, and who was a prominent, she would have been called a feminist if she was alive today, but she was she had been a student of Basho, and she was prolific, and she wrote some wonderful, and this is the poem that Dorothy's going to read is one of her most famous ones. And then Etheridge Aldridge, who was incarcerated, was a poet, was the husband for a short time of Sonia Sanchez, another very well-known acclaimed poet. And then the last one is by Sister Benedicta, who was a nun, who was the basis for one of my teachers, the title of his book. So let's get to Dorothy, but let me just read this real quick. It's a paragraph that I'm going to see if I can expand on a little bit. Eugene Gendlin's focusing on the art of haiku share a common thread. Both emphasize the power of presence and deep awareness in capturing subtle moments and experiences. Gendlin's focusing technique encourages us to listen to our inner sensations, allowing us to access deeper insights and creative expressions. Similarly, haiku, with its concise structure, invites us to observe the world with heightened attention, distilling profound meaning into a few carefully chosen words. By combining Gendlin's focusing practice with the art of haiku, one can enhance their ability to express and connect with the essence of experiences in a profound and concise manner. I want to thank you all so much for taking the invitation to be in this practice together. Please write a haiku, write many, and just keep writing them. Just keep writing them.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yao.
Okay, Dorothy, go right ahead, read them up. We're just got 2 minutes or so, read them out.
Dorothy, you're on mute.
Okay, the first one by Ni. Morning glory, the well bucket entangled, I ask for water. And once more, morning glory, the well bucket entangled, I ask for water. 2 by Etheridge Knight. Eastern guard tower glints in sunset. Convicts rest like lizards on rocks. And once more. Eastern guard tower glints in sunset. Convicts rest like lizards on rocks. 3, the Sister Benedicta. Inside our chapel, with beings of wood and stone, seeds from a birch tree. Once more. Inside our chapel, with beings of wood and stone, seeds from a birch tree.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Gosh, just made my day. I've practiced with you all. So I will make sure that I get the handout, bibliography, and see if I could send that tape with Richard Wright all over the city. Get that to you all, okay? And
Thank you
Wow.
very much, yeah.
please,
Thank you so much.
may you
My
be safe,
treasures.
may you be healthy, may you be happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.